And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, folks. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered in multiple ways. Alrighty, folks, today is a big old Saturday, the official start of the NBA playoffs, tipping off at 2 o'clock today with the Bucks and the Heat, and I cannot wait for the series. I want to see Giannis get it done. We think that they're going to beat the Heat a little convincingly, 4-2. That's our official prediction. But I mean, that's going to be the first game. And I just can't. I think this may be the best first round matchup. It's going to be great. The whole narrative of the repeat from last season in the bubble, and Jimmy Butler's on his A game, and Giannis is still a little indecisive if he's ready to rock or not. But it's going to be a great one, tipping off at 2 o'clock. So we're going to do a little bit of a shorter, I guess. We're going to go an hour. We're probably not going to do more than an hour today, just because I do want to make sure that I am all good to go by 2 o'clock for playoffs, and I got to upload all this to everywhere else. So probably just going to do an hour today, but we'll be breaking down the last play-in tournament game. I mean, how crazy. The Warriors are not in the playoffs. The Grizzlies get that last seed, so we'll break down that game from last night. We'll do our moneymaker for tonight's action for playoff games. Cannot wait for tomorrow as well, but we've got the playoff games starting today, so we'll do our moneymaker for those action. We will be re-looking at the NBA playoffs just a little bit to see if the Grizzlies getting in really kind of changes our mind on the Jazz at all, that first round matchup, because we were assuming the Warriors were going to win. I mean, and they didn't, unfortunately. We haven't really been the greatest at picking these play-in tournament winners, but we're going to get it right for the playoffs because we know the good teams. I mean, these play-in tournament teams, they're the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th seed. It's just like, yeah, all right. Y'all were kind of blowing each other out, but y'all aren't going to really do anything against the good team. So we'll be good for the playoffs, folks. I promise we'll get it done in our moneymaker section in the playoffs. And then we'll look at weeks 12 and 13 in the NFL and predict those winners and keep updating that as we have been. But let's just jump right into it with the stories of the day. And I just kind of want to revisit what we were kind of saying yesterday on the show, that, Tim Tebow, he is like New York, folks. Tiffany Pollard, She had a show on VH1 called New York Goes to Work, and it would just be her doing a different job every single week. Let me get it up and tell you all the jobs that she did, because that's Tim Tebow, folks. I know there was one episode where she had to be a clown. She had to be a clown. Let me get this up real quick. All right. What are these episodes called? There was only one season, unfortunately. And if she did it right, she got $10,000. And if she did the job good, she got $10,000. $10,000. So funny. Alrighty, so episode 1 of New York Goes to Work. Her job choices: ranch hand, baker, or exterminator. And she said baker. Oh, and then America voted as well. America voted as the exterminator. She did work as an exterminator for the Abolish Pest Control Company. She got the $1,000, $10,000 for being good. Episode 2, what did she do? She was a pig farmer. Episode 3, she was chosen to work at a nudist resort. Episode 4, she was sent to be a ghost hunter. Yo, if y'all can find this show anywhere, I highly suggest you watch it. It's just so funny. And you could just imagine Tim Tebow being in the same position, trying to do something new every single week because they're not good at anything besides just being in the spotlight. That's all Tim Tebow is, and he's not even that good at that, being in the spotlight. So that's fast food worker. Man, oh man. So, funny. Let me go to this one, IMDb. I probably have a clear breakdown of these episodes here. Exterminator, pig farmer, nudist resort employee, ghost hunter, exotic animal trainer, doggy daycare worker, clown. That's the one I remember. And the way that she's just dressed up as the clown. They got a picture of that? Damn, they don't. They don't. But I highly suggest, if you've never heard of this, go watch it. Professional boxer and fast food worker. So that's Tim Tebow, folks. New York goes to work. It should be called Tim Tebow goes to work. And especially after he gets cut from this Jaguars roster, because we all know he's not going to make the 53-man. Well, I should knock on wood, because, anything can happen. And, if he got signed initially, that still leaves some option out there for him to be signed. So we're hoping he's not. But, if this man is going to get cut like we are thinking he will, he's going to be jobless and he's going to have to go to work, because he's not going to be making all that money anymore. So he may get his own reality television where Tim Tebow does a new job every single week. And so how funny would that be? But, that's where we're at with Tim Tebow. And we have his salary. That just got announced. Where is that at? Here we go. The Jaguars gave newly signed tight end Tim Tebow a one-year deal worth $920,000, no guaranteed money, and an injury split. This is the minimum. So, you gotta pay him the base. So I'm glad that he's not getting, extraordinary amount of money. Minimal contract here, minimum contract. So, that just kind of shows that, hey, this is a little bit of a publicity stunt. We're only paying him the minimum. There's no money guaranteed, so they can cut him at any point. And I do not believe he would get the rest of that money. That's his contract. Glad that it's not, a 1 year, $5 million, even a $1 million. I'm glad that it's not the $1 million. I'm glad that there's a K in this number right here, so he doesn't get this big head, or the media can't be going on TV saying, oh my God, Tim Tebow, they gave him $1 million. They gave, he's a millionaire just off this one, practice. So the Jaguars gave him 1 year, $920,000 contract, and we'll see if he makes the official roster, but I do not think so. Alrighty, so we know Julio Jones is potentially on the market. We're not totally buying that he's going to get traded, but we know that there is incentive to trade him after June 1st, and everybody would want Julio Jones. No team is going to turn down Julio Jones. Come on. So DeAndre Hopkins is now trying to recruit him. And could you imagine if the Cardinals got freaking Julio Jones as well? Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, and then Kyler Murray. He's got to be gleaming over there. Those cheeks got to be smiling ear to ear. If Kyler Murray picked up the phone, it was like, hey, we just got Julio Jones. Kyler Murray would probably explode from just pure excitement, pure gratefulness, and just pure man, oh man, we're gonna win the ring, we're gonna win the Super Bowl 1,000%. So DeAndre Hopkins says, somebody at the gym asked me would I restructure my contract for Julio, and then he just puts a gif of a guy in a car with 2 thumbs up, cheese, and heart. So obviously DeAndre Hopkins would love to have Julio Jones as the number 2 wide receiver, and it would just make the Cardinals instant Super Bowl competitors, no doubt. And they're already very close to being Super Bowl contenders, but this signing would definitely put them over the edge. And could you imagine Julio Jones and AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins all getting their first rings together? I'd kind of be down with that. I'd be fine with that. I would like to see AJ Green get a ring, and definitely Julio Jones deserves one. And we know DeAndre Hopkins, even though he's still a little earlier in his career than Julio Jones and AJ Green are, but he's going to deserve a ring at some point. So let's get it out of the way. Better late than ever. And I always forget Larry Fitzgerald. Come on, get him his first ring as well. So it's a lot of wide receiver talent on this Cardinals team if Julio Jones gets there, and we got 4 great wide receivers if this happens, getting their first ring. Let's get it, folks, because I'm a little over great athletes not getting their ring. You got to get at least one if you're one of these top tier A1, tier 1, most respected wide receivers in the league, and Julio Jones is definitely top of that list that does not have a ring. So we can knock out 4 birds with one stone here, and I would definitely be fine with that. So we'll keep eyes on this Julio Jones story, and we got more to talk about in this next story, so let's go to this one. DraftKings Sportsbook has released the odds on which team Julio Jones will play for next season. So here are the odds. Atlanta is the favorite at minus 150. You know, once again, kind of playing along what we're saying as well. We don't really see him getting traded. It does seem like Arthur Blank wants to run this team back at least one more season. We say it all the time. I mean, he came out as soon as the season ended, said everybody's up for sale. Then a couple weeks later, he said, no, we're fine. We're not trading anybody. We're going to run it back. And now, since this kind of rumor that Adam Schefter kind of, I think Adam Schefter was the first one to come out with this right before the draft, saying that if they trade Julio Jones after June 1st, then they get incentive. So that's the only reason why we are kind of talking about it now. That's why we kind of stopped talking about it like 2 or 3 months. Well, I don't even think it was that long, 1 or 2 months ago. But now it's back in the limelight because we are approaching that June 1st date. But Atlanta is the favorites at minus 150. But then this is a nice surprise. I didn't think they were going to be interested, but they got the Colts as the second favorites here at plus 500. So it's a big gap there between the favorite and then the second. So once again, kind of giving a lot of credence that he's going to stay in Atlanta. But having him on the Colts, I mean, fantastic. We already are calling this Colts team Super Bowl contenders. And if they get Julio Jones, T.Y. Hilton, Julio Jones, Michael Pittman Jr. is their number 3? Yes, sir. Carson Wentz is going to be firing the ball all over the field, and he'd probably be the first quarterback ever to have 6,000 yards in a season. You've got 3 great wide receivers, all tall, fast, deep threats with an extra game this season. I'm looking for somebody to put up that first 6K season, and if Julio Jones goes to the Colts, I'm all about that, baby. Then we get the Los Angeles. They put A here. Los Angeles A. Rams, Chargers. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. What's the A? There's no Los Angeles Chargers, Los Angeles Rams. So what's the A? Is that supposed to be both? I don't know what they were going for here. Los Angeles, and then in parentheses A. That's also plus 500 with the Colts. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So I don't know which one they're trying to go for there. The Rams, they've got, obviously, Sean McVay, so they would love that. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods with Matt Stafford, so that would definitely be good. And then him playing with Justin Herbert, I'd be about that. But, yeah, I'm not really sure what that A is supposed to mean. All right, but then we get the Baltimore Ravens at plus 700, and could you imagine Lamar Jackson? I mean, he definitely wanted, he's vocalizing that he wants to kind of, start taking some deep shots, but man, oh man, what an upgrade from going to 0 deep threats to getting one of the best in the game right now. They're at plus 700. The New England Patriots are also at plus 700. I really do not see him going to the Patriots. Why would he? Why would he go to the Patriots? I mean, they've got really no great offense. I would rather stay in Atlanta or go to some of these other destinations. This New England Patriots team is not Super Bowl contenders. No way. Maybe the defense, but you still got to put up some points there. And we know Cam Newton's not the best at quite doing that. So I can't really see him going to New England there. The 49ers are at plus 800, and so are the Titans, both at plus 800 there. So once again, some solid teams for him to choose from. Any team would want to have him. I think any team would kind of go after him. I think all 32 NFL teams would go after him, even Atlanta trying to keep him. So once again, we'll see what's going to happen, but we have to wait at least another kind of week here. It's May 22nd. We have to wait till June 1st at the earliest. So we'll see what happens, and then we still got 3 months before really we get into the thick of it of the NFL. So we'll see what happens, but our still money is on that he stays in Atlanta. Let's run it back one more year with this new head coach and see what we can do. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. Russell Wilson drama is, quote, old news to Seahawks, Pete Carroll says. And this is 1,000% true right here. We'll go in the article and read these quotes, but I do want to preface it by saying, a lot of the stories in the offseason are just kind of made up or blown 1,000% out of proportion. These networks, these sports networks need content to talk about. So it's not that they lie, it's just that they kind of extend the truth a little bit. They also do lie. I'm not going to say they don't. But they just extend the truth a little bit, maybe just kind of take things out of context, take this quote and this quote from two different articles and try to connect them a little bit. So we do have to take every single news that we do see in the offseason with a big grain of salt. And this came real early on, and now it seems to be fixed, and we'll see what Pete Carroll's saying about it. But we do have to start getting away from this narrative a little bit that Russell Wilson is so unhappy and he's really he's really very close to leaving and not wanting to be there, and maybe he's not going to play 100% this season to get away from this team, and he maybe won't work as hard because he's not going to want to sacrifice his body for a team that doesn't respect him. But I really think we have to start backing away this narrative, and we are definitely going to be doing that here at Takes by Fans. We are really going to start really shifting the narrative away from this, because if it was true, and I think there is a little bit of truth to it, I don't know if Russell Wilson was that outraged, but who knows, maybe he was. But, it's a couple of months removed. We're starting to get closer. The draft came and went. They did upgrade their line a little bit. So we are going to have to start shifting away from this narrative and really just kind of focusing on really what the Seahawks are going to be this season, focusing on their new offensive coordinator a little bit more, and focusing on all those stories just a little bit more than this kind of, Russell Wilson is unhappy. But let's see what we get in this article here by Pete Carroll. Any good quotes here, and let's see how much old news this kind of Russell Wilson unhappy in Seattle. So, the collective football universe has spent many hours and days discussing the Wilson situation. Once again, exactly that, what we just said. I mean, making up stories because you need content, especially in the offseason. The collective football universe has spent many hours and days. I mean, it gave them a week. I mean, that's all they're looking for. Let's go week by week. What can we make stick for and talk about for at least a week here to generate that content that we need? So the collective football universe has spent many hours and days discussing the Wilson situation, including rumblings of a potential trade to destinations like Chicago. And we knew that was kind of like false right off the rip. I mean, that's when we knew it was going a little bit too far. Russell Wilson, he's not going to leave Seattle just like that, folks. He really does seem like he's going to be in this kind of franchise and team for his entire career. He does kind of seem like a one-team guy. And, he's already got the ring and the championship, so he does know it is doable here in the Seahawks organization. All right, including rumblings of a potential trade to destinations like Chicago before it ultimately simmered and slithered into the ether before the start of the 2021 draft. In comparison to the current Aaron Rodgers drama in Green Bay, it was rather mild, even if it did include a franchise quarterback and prominent NFL star. The way Carroll sees it, it was never much of a big deal to begin with. Here we go, quote, "It seems like really old news to talk about this because it's been such a long time. The little bit he said carried so much airtime that it became bigger than life. Throughout the whole process, Russell, we've always been connected. We've always been talking. We've never not been in communication, and we weren't at all in this time either. And we weren't at all in this time either. We've never not been in communication, and we weren't at all in this time either. And we weren't at all in this time either. All right. A couple things that came out got magnified, and the questions came out. And there was a couple of things. He was frustrated when he was talking, just like any of us sometimes emphasize something that's on the top of our mind, and it can be played differently than it really plays itself out. We've had a really good offseason of working, and there was an ongoing media discussion that I did not take part in. John Schneider and we refused to be a part of that, and Russell did what he could once he saw it was happening, to stay as quiet as he could because it was going to play and have a life of its own anyway. When it amounted to what it amounted to was, I think, a refocusing, making sure that we were on the same page, making sure that we were clear so that we could withstand any of our scrutiny that would come towards us, and we did that. So Once again, I mean, a little bit of a bigger story than it was actually. We all know how the media just takes literally everything because you have to compete for content. I mean, we're in a 24-hour news cycle, and that's the same thing with sports, folks. I mean, obviously the real news, but I mean, SportsCenter, that's literally the channel. That is the name, SportsCenter. We are on a 24-hour news cycle of sports. We need to have something interesting to talk about because God forbid we talk about, some of these tier 2 players in the NBA and the NFL. No. We just have to spend all of our time talking about, the best of the best, the A1 tier ones. Forget about the Timberwolves. Nobody wants to talk about them. We love them, and we made a lot of money betting on them this season. So you can find content. That's why, another reason why we started this show, because we want to talk about every team and every player, because it's sports, folks. We don't have to just talk about the best player. And I kind of get it from a business angle. You have to, sell stories, and these players sell advertisements, and that's basically the game, folks. We're just all trying to make money. And if you hear LeBron James, you tune in, that sells ads, and I get it, but it's kind of lame that we only talk about, 40% of the league, and I'm going, all the leagues here, football, basketball. I'm sure in baseball, hockey gets zero coverage, so I really feel bad for them. They got a great sport. Hockey's such a great sport. Playoff hockey is on at the moment, folks, and if you've never watched hockey, please watch some playoff hockey. The finesse of the game, folks. Same thing with soccer. I know soccer gets shit on a lot because, we're in America, and the Americans don't like soccer, but once again, the finesse of soccer, folks, I absolutely love it. We don't really talk about soccer and hockey on the show because it's not you can't really talk about it that much. It's hard to break it down. Like, you can break down football and basketball a little bit easier, and a little bit better, and a lot more to talk about. With hockey and soccer, I mean, the game could be 1-0. What do you talk? All right, he made the shot. Everybody else missed. This man made it. It's like, it's hard to really dig deep. It's really, just like basketball, it's a make or miss league, but, you've also got a little bit of defense. And I know you got defense in soccer and hockey and all that, but it's just a little bit different to talk about. It's a little bit harder to kind of talk it through about what's actually happening and breaking it down and all that. So that's why we don't really talk about it, but I love watching it. I love the finesse, and it's just fantastic. So if you've never watched hockey, please watch some playoff hockey. It will seriously change your mind, folks. I think you will convert to hockey fans if you watch playoff hockey, honestly. But let's get back to this article right here. Just kind of, Pete Carroll saying this was kind of, a little bit bigger than what it was. Yes, Russell Wilson kind of, said a couple of things here. And, that's fine. And we talked about that. We talked it through. We're all on the same page now. But the media, they just kept going with it and going with it and going with it. And then Russell Wilson stopped. I mean, I think we really only got one, maybe two quotes from Russell Wilson. And that was really it. Because like Pete Carroll said, Russell Wilson knew, usually the media's on my side, and the media is still on my side here, but this is becoming a way bigger distraction than I really meant for it to be, or really wanted it to be. What Russell Wilson probably wanted this to be was just kind of, letting out his frustration a little bit. Maybe just got kind of caught up and, said to somebody, I forgot who he was talking to when these quotes came out. But he was probably like, yeah, you know what? I am really kind of sick of getting hit. It freaking sucks. I hate it. I mean, who wants to get hit? Especially, I'm a quarterback frame. I'm not the beefiest. I'm not the strongest out here. I am a quarterback. We do have kind of the reputation of being a little weak. And you've got, Aaron Donald. I've got to go against Aaron Donald, and we just, we didn't see him punch the guy, but he was, he almost punched a guy in the face. And, we know he's just a big, strong man. Would you want to get hit by Aaron Donald? I don't want to get hit by Aaron Donald either. So, yeah, it's frustrating getting hit, and I'm running around for my life. So it's just a little bit of, airing your grievance, just trying to, just kind of getting it off your chest a little bit. And then the media, as soon as they hear that, they're going to nitpick every single word, every single statement. And as long as it's driving those clicks, they will continue to run with the stories. And then we get the anonymous sources, and then we get the more anonymous sources, and then we go sources from 4 years ago and 5 years ago when he first came into the league, and he said the same thing and all this, and nothing changed, and let's break open the story even further. Let's keep expanding, because if it's generating those clicks, we're still gonna be talking about it. So that's where we're at with the Seahawks and Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. I really think it's a little. I think it's way overblown than what it actually was. So let's kind of keep this in mind and start kind of expelling this narrative from all of our future narratives that we are going to be talking about with the Seahawks and Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. So let's start to kind of, all right, ease out this kind of section, this kind of information, and let's kind of, just kind of tone it down a little bit, weigh it a lot less than kind of when it first hit, when it was first announced. So, but Pete Carroll says, hey, we're all good here. We're boys here. We're fine. We're good. We're all communicating. We're good. So that's Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. Alrighty, Tua. I love Tua news here. There's a lot of Tua slander. I don't appreciate it, and I don't like it, and I also don't agree with it. I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic this season. I think the accuracy is good. I think he just really kind of was a little lackluster because of the play calling and the weapons that we had. Both of those changed for the better this offseason, so I've got no kind of doubts that he's going to step it up and get it done this season. So when I get quotes from Dolphins offensive lineman Austin Jackson on what's different about Tua this year, we get this, and I absolutely love it. Quote, he's got a beard, and there's a little more bass in his voice. Oh, yes, becoming that leader, folks. I absolutely love it. I mean, when you're going from college to the NFL, I mean, this is it, folks. This is the prime time. This is the biggest stage. There is no more bigger level of competition than the NFL, folks. So when players are coming from college to the NFL, a little bit of a bigger adjustment here. Some players, instantly get it. Some players take maybe a season or two, and then others just never get it. A la Josh Rosen, unfortunate. First overall pick and floundered big time. Big old time there. Played one season and then just got tossed in the trash. Truly unfortunate. So, Tua, being that more vocal leader, taking ownership, leading men, and that's a huge another difference in the college scheme in the NFL. In college, you're playing with 19, 20, 21, what's the oldest? Maybe 22, but when you get to the NFL, I mean, you got 28, 30, 34, 35. If you're Tom Brady, you got a mother-loving 43-year-old on your team. So it's a little intimidating, a little bit to get used to be kind of like, oh, now I'm 21, I'm 22, I'm 23, and I'm supposed to lead all these men. I got to lead all these men, and I kind of have to have them all believe in me. So I love that Tua's kind of taking this next step. Loving that he's really taking control, owning it. Hey, I'm the leader here, y'all. Y'all just stick by me, and I'm going to lead us to the promised land. But I need y'all to all buy into me, and I'm going to make it as kind of easy for y'all to do that, and I'm going to make it that I'm as trusting as y'all need me to be, so y'all trust me. And I love that Tua is really doing that this season. So another huge green flag here for Tua. We love the accuracy. He's becoming that better leader. He's got the beard, so he's even looking better. Gosh darn, look at that. Yes, sir. Great facial hair, very well done. Great jeans, and he's rocking it absolutely fantastically. So everything's getting better for Tua here. Let's see him take this next step. He's got a lot of talent to compete with. This young generation of talent that just has came into the NFL over this last kind of year and two. With Justin Herbert, who, oh my God, folks, oh my God. I don't want to say this. I truly don't want to say this. But if we could kind of replay that 2020 draft over again. I don't want to say this, but man, oh man, the way that Justin Herbert played, I think I'd rather, I don't even want to say it, but the way that Justin Herbert played, man, oh my God, if we're just going based off year one alone, I got to go with Justin Herbert over Tua, but that's just this 1 year alone, so he's got to compete with Justin Herbert, and Joe Burrow was fantastic, and now Trevor Lawrence is coming into the league, so a lot of great quarterback talent that's solidified in Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Trevor Lawrence is going to be good. We think he's going to be great, but he's at least going to be good. And then with Justin Fields, he's got a high ceiling, in my opinion. He could be really good in this league, but, he could also be really kind of bad. So it's really, there's a lot of emerging talent. Zach Wilson, a lot of people are liking him. We'll see. Mac Jones is definitely not going to work, so Tua's not going to have to compete with him. But, there's going to be there's already 3-4 quarterbacks that he is going to have to kind of be better than, and he's always going to be compared to throughout his entire career. So I'm glad that he's he's getting better, taking those steps to get better. And if everybody's buying into him, watch out for the Dolphins this season. The defense is there. The offensive weapons are there. The play calling is now there. It's all Tua to go out and do it. And we believe 1,000% that he can do it because we saw him do it with the lackluster weapons and the lackluster play calling last season. So we've got no doubt that he can do it again this season, even better now that he's a more vocal leader and better just of having a full off season to prepare. So absolutely love it here. Tua, go get it done, kid. Go get it done. We're here rooting for you. Let's go get it, folks. Tua's the guy. Tua's the mother-loving man, folks. We'll see how he does this season. Alrighty, let's head over to some basketball stories now. Alrighty. So, the night before the play-in tournament game between the Lakers and the Warriors, this kind of photo emerges of LeBron James with Drake and Michael B. Jordan, and they're all drinking, having fun, and it turns out this was a brand event for, I believe, LeBron James, like, liquor company or wine company or something like that. So this photo came out the night before the play-in tournament game, and I was a little, there was going to be a lot of big pushback on LeBron if he lost that game, be like, oh, you were just partying with Drake the night before, and then you go blow it big time in the play-in game, but that's not what happened. LeBron James said, yeah, I can party with Drake and then cash out threes over Curry any day of the week. It don't matter. It don't matter. I do. Did y'all not know I do this? I do this. So yes, I'm going to go party with Drake. Of course I'm going to do that. I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to go party with Drake, folks. I'm not going to do that. So, if you thought that that was going to be a distraction or take away from my basketball game, do y'all not know me? I am the king, the GOAT. That is me. And I hit big shot after big shot after big shot. And I'm securing my spot in the playoffs while Curry, who y'all love, womp womp, unfortunately just lost to the Grizzlies last night. So this photo emerges, and then this just came. When did this come? When did this break? May 22nd at 3:22 a.m. The Lakers were notified by the NBA that LeBron James violated protocols by attending an event for his tequila brand earlier this week. This photo with Drake. So there was a lot going around with that. You know, is he going to be suspended? Is he not? But that kind of story got squashed quickly because at 10:33 a.m., Woj says LeBron James won't be suspended for protocols violation. Nature of event did not rise to a threat level of virus spread as described in the story. And then the Lakers play this Sunday. So LeBron James partying with Drake, breaking the kind of, COVID rules that the NBA has set up. We know the rules are getting a little bit more laxed here now that more people are getting vaccinated. I believe that if these franchises in the NBA want to have all their kind of rules laxed, I think 100%, they have to have like 85% of their players vaccinated. So 13 out of the 15 players need to be vaccinated. And the Lakers are not there yet, so they're still kind of under the tighter thumb of the NBA. But the decision not to have the suspension here for LeBron James is getting everybody into a flurry. Everybody's calling BS, saying what the hell? I mean, why is this man getting the free pass? Everybody's bringing up when Kevin Durant earlier this season, he was ready to rock, and he got a false positive, but he still had to sit 10 days while that had to work itself out. So I know I can, understand that. And plus, we just saw the NBA, the Warriors were just eliminated from the playoffs yesterday. So they're going to be, losing that kind of revenue money with less viewers now that there's no Steph Curry to watch. We all know Steph Curry brings a crowd to the television. We saw that the Lakers Warriors play-in tournament game did like 5.1 million views. Fantastic. So great kind of, numbers there. So, of course, they're not going to have LeBron also not. The two best players on the planet that, got that kind of 5 million view rating was LeBron James and Steph Curry. We just lost Steph Curry, and now if you lose LeBron for 10 days, especially when they have to go against this Suns team, that's a 4-0 sweep, and then we don't get LeBron for the rest of the playoffs. Now, I don't care about that because I'm not in the business of ratings. I have 133 subscribers on YouTube, so I'm not worried about the ratings and the advertisements just quite yet. We may get there. We're hoping to get there. I just want to see, the best players thrive, and if they have a bad game, they lose. If they have a good game, they win. That's what I'm all about here. I'm not in the business of the views and the ad revenue or anything like that. So I would have no problem if LeBron. It would suck. It would suck not to see LeBron in the playoffs. So I'm glad that he's still going to be out on the floor come Sunday. But I think this is getting a little bit blown out of proportion. A lot of people are bashing the NBA and LeBron James. Now, I can't really decide if these are just kind of, classic internet people that just want to pick a fight with everything and just kind of call out everything, or if these are real fans upset. I'm not upset. I truly could care less. Okay, he was at an event with Drake. Okay, I give him a pass for that. If you're ever around Drake, I give you a pass. You can do it. You can do whatever you want. So that's where we're at with this LeBron James story. He's good. He's not suspended. He's going to be there Sunday, and he's going to have his kind of back against the wall, having to kind of beat this Suns team. Chris Paul and LeBron James. And this Lakers team is nothing great. They're really not that good. It's LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Everybody else is really not that good. And the one thing that the Lakers had last season was some decent outside shooting. I mean, they don't have that this year. Nobody stepped up like Alex Caruso stepped up last year. Nobody's really been that. Taylor Horton-Tucker here and there, but not as consistent that Caruso was to kind of lead them to the chip last year. So they're going to have bigger problems than LeBron James. They're going to have to count on some of their bench and some of their other role players. Dennis Schroeder versus Chris Paul. Good luck. Good luck, Dennis Schroeder. You're absolutely going to get destroyed. So they're going to have no point guard. So you better hope somebody else can step it up. But Lakers, Suns, game 1 on Sunday. LeBron's all good to go. Everybody's good to go. So we'll see what the Lakers can do. A lot of people are predicting that the Lakers are going to somehow go to the finals. I just don't understand how do you think they could beat the Suns and then go and beat the who would it be? I got it up. The Suns and then the Nuggets and then the Jazz. It's just like, you really think they're going to be able to get through all those series with just LeBron James? And I love LeBron James, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's the best player on the planet, and he could definitely lead trash to the finals. But this year, the competition is just a little bit too much for him to overcome. Good bigs down low that he's going to have to go against. Good deep benches that he's going to have to go against. And that's everything that the Lakers don't have. They got Anthony Davis, and he's a solid big. He did flounder against the Warriors in the play-in tournament. But they got no bench. I mean, I cannot rely on anybody on that bench consistently. Some, one player, has a good game here and there and pop up, and, everybody talks about him, but consistently, there's nothing good on the bench here for this Lakers team. So they're going to have their work cut out for them. But the real takeaway of this story here is that LeBron James is the greatest freaking player on the planet. Partying with Drake last night, goes and hits the shot over Steph Curry the next night. I mean, what a freaking life! What a life, folks! Damn, great life LeBron's got. I would trade mine instantly. I don't care what anybody says. The grass is always greener. Yes. LeBron James' grass is as green as I can freaking imagine. You understand? Fantastic. So LeBron James is good to go for Sunday, folks. Not going to get suspended. So everybody relax, all right? Alrighty. Those are all the stories that we needed to cover and break down for today, so let's head over to the NBA. We'll break down the one lone game from last night, and then we'll start talking about today's NBA playoff action. We'll do our moneymaker, and then we'll try to fit in weeks 12 and 13 in the NFL. So, last night, the Warriors and the Grizzlies play for that last seed, and the Grizzlies were winning all game. And once again, I mean, we didn't hit our moneymaker, and we missed the mark a little bit, but our thinking that the Grizzlies could be competitive was right on the money. I mean, we just saw what they did in the last game of the season. We told y'all, we broke it down. That Grizzlies defense was really locking up the Warriors and Steph Curry. Dylan Brooks against Steph Curry. Dylan Brooks did not foul out, and they win the game. This Grizzlies defense is good, and they got a really good kind of starting roster for their offense as well to get it done too. So this Grizzlies team, I mean, you got to give them the respect, man. A huge game, huge pressure-filled game on the road. You're winning in, playing in, and they went and won the game in overtime. So I give this Grizzlies team so much credit here. Very well done. And it did go into overtime. The Warriors did come back late a little bit, and they ended up having the last shot, so we can take a look at that. But Draymond Green, man, oh man, I really wish he would have sunk this, man. His offensive game is super lackluster. That's the biggest knock on Draymond Green. His leadership, his defense, his just kind of spatial awareness, his defensive awareness, his just overall strategic awareness on the floor is fantastic. It's one of the best in the NBA, folks, but his offensive production is truly lackluster. We know, I just saw a stat, we didn't talk about it on the show, but I did see a stat that he had more assists and rebounds than points overall in the season, and that's classic, and we knew that. I mean, we talk about him every single game. He doesn't do anything. He's basically PJ Tucker, but better, and PJ Tucker's now off the bench for the Bucks because he does not provide that offensive spark. The Warriors do not have that kind of luxury and depth to put Draymond Green off the bench, and Draymond Green would even want to come off the bench. Still a little bit in the prime of his career. But Draymond Green, unfortunately, ends up with the ball in his hands last shot. And this is something else that was happening last night with this Warriors team. I mean, everybody was taking the threes late besides Steph Curry. And this Warriors team was down like 7 with like 2 minutes left, 2 minutes, 20 seconds left. And everybody was still taking the threes besides Steph Curry. And I was just screaming at my television, if y'all don't give Steph Curry the ball, you live and die by Steph Curry. I don't want to see anybody else taking the three here. You understand me? It's Steph Curry. Demand the ball, shoot the ball, half-court shot, full-court shot. They're better shots than what everybody else is taking out here. So I was a little disappointed that Steph Curry wasn't kind of demanding the ball here, but I guess you got to, he's going to get double-teamed and all that, find the open guy, blah, 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 nonsense. Go and have Steph Curry shoot the ball. That's all I care about. But unfortunately, Draymond Green gets the last shot here. So let's watch this. Last 10 seconds left. Tie game up at 99. Double team on Steph Curry right at the center court. They're not letting that man get one step inside half court because we know he can fire it from anywhere. So he passes the ball to Draymond Green with 3 seconds left. Draymond Green is wide open, takes a little bit of a running floater, and man, oh man, was this one of the worst shots that have ever been attempted here. Just off the mark, big time, folks. He's like a foot away from the basket. This is where he shoots it from. He shoots it from the underneath side of the circle of the free throw line, if you can understand what I just said there. So he shoots it from literally 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps in front of the free throw line. A little bit of a lob. Is that Valanciunas? Who came over? That wasn't Valanciunas, but a Grizzlies defender comes over, makes it a harder attempt, but man, oh man, just wide left, doesn't even hit the rim at all, hits the backboard and bounces back down bad, does not go, and then the Grizzlies go and proceed to win in overtime. So truly an unfortunate shot by Draymond Green last night, and then they lose in overtime. But we're still big on Draymond Green. It's unfortunate that he wasn't clutch offensively, but we still buy him, and now opens up the box to slander Draymond Green. So please don't take that route, folks. Please don't take that route. There's a lot of other players to slander. Alrighty, so let's start here with the Grizzlies from last night. Ja Morant, and very well done to him. I mean, a lot of people clowning him, clowning this man, slandering this man. Draymond Green sagging off of him in their first last game, that last game of the season, where whoever won was the 8th seed. The Warriors won that game, and Ja Morant was a little off shooting, and Draymond Green was sagging, disrespecting him, letting him shoot, and Ja Morant made them all pay last night. 35 points, 4 steals, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 of 10 from the 3, and 48% on 29 shots. So he got his revenge. He was hitting the clutch buckets. He got out to a nice good start, and he finished the game very solid. So Ja Morant, absolutely shout out him. Very well done last night. Shutting everybody up, going toe-to-toe with Steph Curry, winning the game, hitting the big shots, getting it done. So I give 1,000% respect to Ja Morant from last night, silencing all the doubters, shutting everybody up, saying, you're going to disrespect me by sagging off that much? All right, I'm going to make you pay. Cash, 35 points. Get it done, kid. Love it. All right, Dillon Brooks still at the 2, even though Grayson Allen played fantastic. I love that. Rock with the hot hands in the starting lineup, and having Grayson Allen off the bench, I think that's exactly where he fits. That's his role, the nice sharpshooter off the bench. better than having him as the number 2 in the starting lineup. So I absolutely love that. But Dillon Brooks at the 2, 14 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 rebounds. Not the greatest last night shooting. We know the defense is always solid by this man, but he shot 0-4 from the 3 and 31% on 22 shots. Big yikes offensively, but luckily luckily Ja Morant got it done. Jonas Valanciunas didn't have that big game that he had. Another kind of, one of our predictions from last night, it was Jonas Valanciunas was not going to have like 20. I think he had like 22 and 16 in that last game of the season against the Warriors. This meeting, only 9 points. He also had 12 rebounds, 6 of those offensive. Very well done, but only 9 points last night. Jaren Jackson Jr., 10 points, but because he got to the line, he shot 1 of 6 from the field. Absolutely trash. And then Kyle Anderson, a little flounder as well, 9 points. He had 10 rebounds and 6 assists, which is good, and also a plus 11 on the floor. Very great defense. But he shot 2 of 7 from the field. Not good offensively. He was just able to get to the line 5 times. That's where most of his points came. But then this bench of the Grizzlies, and if this bench can get it done like they did last night and keep it up, this Grizzlies team is going to have a chance in the first round of the playoffs, folks. We're going to talk about that matchup in a second, but very well done to this bench. Desmond Bane, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Xavier Tillman, holy moly, he was having some great defense. I think that was the player that came over here to kind of block Draymond Green here in the last couple of in the very last shot. I think that was Xavier Tillman. So he had some great defense down the stretch. Xavier Tillman, 11 points, 7 rebounds, and then Grayson Allen, yes sir, 12 points off the bench, 4 steals, 4 rebounds. He shot 4 or 5 from 3, and one was clutch late in the fourth quarter to keep that lead big. Even though the Warriors did end up coming back, it was Grayson Allen that helped keep that lead, and if it wasn't for that 3, the Warriors win by 3. So, just a great overall job by this Grizzlies team. Grit, tough, fighting to the bitter end, and I abso-freaking-lutely love it, folks. And now I'm kind of cheering a little bit for this Grizzlies team in the first round. So, very well done for the Grizzlies last night. We'll quickly talk about this Warriors team, and then we'll talk about this matchup first. Well, then we'll talk about the matchup. But here we go. Steph Curry, 39 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 6 of 15 for the 3. Just wish he was kind of taking more shots in the fourth quarter. That's it. That was my only knock on Steph Curry last night. He does what he does. It's great. Unfortunately, didn't have the ball in his hands enough, in my opinion. Kent Bazemore still at the 2, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Kevon Looney at the 1, 3 points, 4 rebounds, a minus 15 on the floor. Nothing great. Man, oh man, if they have they got nothing good. They've got really nothing good on this team besides Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins. Everybody else is just really kind of black. So they're going to have to get a new big here. A new 5 for this Warriors team because Kevon Looney is not getting it done. Wiseman can't even consistently be in the starting lineup. He's that bad. So they're going to have to definitely find a better big in this offseason for Klay Thompson's arrival. So Kevon Looney, 3 points, 4 rebounds. Draymond Green, 11 points, 10 assists, 16 rebounds. Just unfortunately missed the game-winning shot. But the triple-double for the man, got to give it up for him. And then Andrew Wiggins, great night, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. Shot 45% from the field, not the greatest. 25% from the 3. Once again, not the greatest, but still giving us that nice offensive production that we can't rely on anybody else. Draymond Green doesn't put up those points. Kevon Looney doesn't put up those points. Kent Bazemore doesn't put up those points. Nobody puts up the types of points that Andrew Wiggins does, and he's that one consistent player on this Warriors team that's not a true superstar, and that's why we kind of give a lot of respect to Andrew Wiggins. A solid 15 to 20 point score every single night, and that's exactly what we got from him in these kind of last 3 games. The play-in tournament game against the Lakers, this one against the Grizzlies, and then that last regular season game against the Grizzlies. Andrew Wiggins getting it done all those games, so very well done. All right, and then off the bench, Juan Toscano-Anderson, 4 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. But then Jordan Poole getting it done offensively, 19 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. And he shot 54% from the field, 3 of 5 from the 3. Just unfortunately couldn't get it done in overtime. And like we said, that Draymond Green miss at the end. But that's the Warrior season. Unfortunately comes to a little bit premature fault. And, year 1 of the play-in tournament, we get a 9th seed getting into the playoffs. So it works. It's good. It was kind of designed. It did what it was designed to do, which was to give the 9th and 10th seed, if they were kind of hitting their stride at the end of the season, even though maybe the first half of the season go so great, but you were really catching your fire maybe the last month, maybe last month and a half, where you really kind of were competing for a playoff spot. And then in the play-in tournament, you go and seize the opportunity. The 9th seed, the Grizzlies, winning that game against the Warriors, beating the Warriors. Warriors the 8th seed. Coming into this play-in tournament, Grizzlies the 9th seed, and the Grizzlies end up with the 8th seed at the end of the day. So the play-in tournament is kind of good, and I kind of liked it. I thought it played well. We got a lot of blowouts. There were a lot of blowouts. The only good game really was the Lakers-Warriors. This one was solid as well. It did go into overtime, but the other ones were absolute blowouts. But I think it did accomplish what it set out to accomplish. And, I mean, it doesn't have to be. I mean, we're not looking to kind of give the 9th and 10th seeds just kind of free access into the playoffs. I mean, you have to go out and earn it, and those teams that got blown out, I mean, they deserve to get blown out. So I'm glad that the Grizzlies never got blown out. They win and seize their opportunity. I think overall the play-in tournament was a success, and I kind of wanted to see it back next season. And then also for the Warriors, we can kind of guarantee 1,000% that Kelly Oubre Jr. is not going to be there next season. So free up some cap space, go and get the big. You're going to have Curry back. I would keep Andrew Wiggins maybe as a bench. It's going to be hard to kind of see where he fits in. Maybe move Klay Thompson to the 2, Andrew Wiggins at the 3, Cape Draymond at the 4, and then whoever you kind of sign, but they need a better big. I would say go and get to Jared Allen before the Cavs sign him to that $100 million contract that we've been hearing about. Go and get him before he's locked up and won't be traded or moved. But well done for the Grizzlies, and unfortunately, the Warriors have gone fishing, folks. All right, before we talk about the moneymaker for tonight's action, let's go back to our playoff prediction, because we have to kind of reassess this 1-8 matchup in the Western Conference now that the Grizzlies have officially acclaimed that 8th seed, because when we went through this, we were kind of assuming the Warriors were going to win last night and the Jazz were going to face the Warriors. But now the Jazz are facing the Grizzlies, so how does that change our thinking? Do the Jazz still make it out of the first round? Yes, but I am going to give a lot of respect to this Grizzlies team, and I am going to kind of change it to Jazz in 6. I think this kind of Grizzlies team matches up great against the Jazz. I think their starting rosters are really, really comparable. Donovan Mitchell versus John Morant, I give the slight edge to Donovan Mitchell, maybe for the little bit of a better defense that he plays. So John Morant still has the opportunity and ability to kind of go beast mode, but it's going to be a little bit harder going against Donovan Mitchell. The bigs, Rudy Gobert versus Valanciunas, I mean, that's going to give him a little bit of trouble. Valanciunas is great inside, so is Rudy Gobert, but I think it's a little bit of an equal matchup down low. The shootability, Dillon Brooks on defense for this Grizzlies team, so if this Grizzlies team can just lock in the defense and Bogdanovich is not hitting all those threes and not hitting all those kind of clutch points that he's been doing all season long consistently, if the Grizzlies can clamp down defensively, the Grizzlies can upset the Jazz here, folks. This is not out of the realm of possibilities. Like, this Warriors team, we said the Jazz in 5, folks. I mean, we were giving this Warriors team no chance at beating the Jazz, but this Grizzlies team, this is a great matchup here in the first round. I know it's a 1-8 matchup, but they just kind of match up greatly. The Jazz have a little bit of a better shooting bench than the Grizzlies do. We'll see if Grayson Allen can kind of keep up that great production off the bench for the Grizzlies, but yeah, this Grizzlies defense is nothing to kind of play around with, folks. They were kind of shutting down Curry. They were shutting down the greatest shooter of all time in 2 huge must-win games. Just unfortunately, Dillon Brooks fouls out in that first meeting, the last game of the season, and then they go and shut down Curry, and they win in overtime. So this is a favorable matchup here for the Grizzlies. We still think the Jazz are going to win the series in 6, but it's competitive, it's good, and I really think the Grizzlies, their 2 wins are going to be convincing wins. They're going to be like, ooh, man, like if the Jazz aren't on next game, they're gonna lose, and like we said, this could definitely go 7 games, folks. So do not be surprised. Every other matchup here, we'd be like, the other 1-8 matchup of the 76ers and the Wizards, we'd be really surprised if the Wizards got it. In the 2-8 matchups, we'd be shocked. I'd quit the show if the Celtics beat the Nets, because nothing matters, and there's no reason to talk about anything if nothing matters. And with the Suns and the Lakers, yeah, we can kind of see the Lakers Blazers winning just because of LeBron James, but that's it. So we really don't give too much credit to that. I would say the Grizzlies have a better chance at beating the Jazz than the Lakers have at beating the Suns. I'll just leave it at that. So we'll have the Jazz still winning here in the first round, winning in 6 against the Grizzlies. Alrighty, let's head over to the action in the NBA today, folks. 4 playoff games. The playoffs begin today. I freaking cannot wait, and we're thrown right into the action. The worst playoff series of this tournament is probably going to be Celtics-Nets because I can't see the Celtics putting up that much of a fight. That's really going to be the worst series. Maybe the 76ers. Well, no, not even the Wizards, because we know Russell Westbrook is going to be on his dog mode and maybe keeping it a little bit competitive. Yeah, Jason Tatum's going to be on his dog mode as well, but I can't rely on anybody else besides him. So the Nets-Celtics is probably going to be the worst series, but that's not even the first one. We're thrown into the flames, folks. Heat-Bucks. Ooh, folks, I cannot wait. I truly think this is going to be the best series of the first round. Giannis versus Jimmy Butler, part 2. Bucks revenge. That's the narrative, and that's what we're rocking with. We're going to take the Bucks. Well, we're not sure the spread yet, but I think we're going to take whatever the points is, and I'm hoping that the spread is going to be a little light because a lot of people are feeling the Heat. We are not, so we think we're going to be able to get some good value with this Bucks team. But Heat Bucks, 2 o'clock on ESPN. Mavericks Clippers 4:30, Celtics Nets 8 o'clock, and Blazers Nuggets 10:30. So basketball on all day if you're on the East Coast. Truly unfortunate with this 10:30 game. It's going to kill me. But we're going to have to make it do. We're going to have to make it work. Blazers Nuggets, another series that could potentially be a little bit of an upset here, folks. This Blazers team matches up decently with the Nuggets. We'll see how Nurkic is able to handle Jokic. But we know they got the great shooters. Michael Porter Jr., Damian Lillard, Norman, CJ McCollum. So they definitely had their work cut out for them. This Nuggets team does. Capazzo's going to have to step it up. Aaron Gordon, he's going to have to be an offensive producer out here. He's going to have to be an offensive contributor. And another narrative to watch is this Blazers bench. How are they going to fare? We know they've only been kind of rocking with 3 players off the bench in the kind of last couple of weeks here of the season. Anthony Simons, trash offensively. Enes Kanter, their best bench weapon. And Carmelo Anthony, who is not as consistent, as good as he was last year in the bubble. So we'll see if he can kind of return to some playoff form here. So 4 playoff games. Let's get these lines up to date. Let's get the ins and outs all good, up to date. And let's start making some money in tonight's NBA playoffs, folks. Let's start the playoffs off with a bang by making money. So first game up, Bucks and the Heat. Heat plus 5.5, Bucks minus 5.5. Alrighty, a little bit bigger of a spread than I was kind of expecting. I really thought it was going to be like Bucks minus 2, maybe 3. I thought Vegas was going to kind of fall for the hype of this Heat team. Unfortunately, it's not. But for the Heat, everybody's good to go. Everybody's good to go. Victor Oladipo, remember, he's out for the season, folks. He's not going to be playing. But everybody else is good to go. And then for the Bucks, just Thanasis Antetokounmpo is out with the knee injury. And we know he doesn't really do anything that much offensively. I think he had like one good game, and that was when Giannis wasn't even playing. So all these teams at full strength, ready to rock, and I'm taking the Bucks here, man. Giannis, he gets no attention in the media. He gets no love. Everybody dismisses him. Everybody still wants to rock with this Heat team. Everybody thinks that this Heat team is as good as they were last year in the bubble. They're not that good, folks. They don't have the bigs anymore to stop this Bucks team. The only bigs to stop all this Bucks beef is Trevor Ariza and Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo's good. Trevor Ariza's been really consistent this season. I do kind of want to say that. He's been very good, but they don't have that kind of bench big to help out a little bit. Last year, they had Kelly Olynyk and Bam Adebayo and Jay Crowder. And Jay Crowder's going to be a huge piece to the Suns team to shut down this Lakers team. Another reason why we don't think the Lakers are going to be that great in this playoff series. But back to this Bucks Heat team. We're going to take the Bucks minus 5.5 here. I really think this is Giannis' season. This is his year. He showed that in that Nets series of him just putting his head down, going for 40 points a game. That's what he knows. He knows he's finally this A1 tier 1 superstar, and it's on him to get the majority of the offensive production when needed to win the game. He knows he has to go on his LeBron. He knows he has to go on his Curry if he wants to win this series, and he wants to definitely rewrite history from last year. We're taking the Bucks minus 5.5. All right, Mavericks in the Clippers. Mavericks +6, Clippers -6. Big spread here. Let's see if everybody's good to go. For the Mavericks, JJ Redick is out. I mean, they bring this man in for the playoffs, and he can't even go game one. How unfortunate. And Maxi Kleber is a game time decision. He's trash anyway. Who cares? And then for the Clippers, Amir Coffey is a game-time decision. Alrighty, so this one's going to be close. We're going to start here with the Clippers -6. It would not surprise me if the Mavericks do cover the spread. Luka Doncic, I mean, you still got to respect his game. This week of rest, none of these teams were in the play-in tournament, so the Mavericks can't come out swinging game one. But this Clippers team, I mean, they've got so much pressure on him. If they don't sweep this Mavericks team, it's honestly a little bit of a letdown. The further it goes, the more letdown we are by this Clippers team, the more pressure's on them, the more the media starts talking about this Clippers team is the same old Clippers team and they're going to flounder like they did last season. So they're going to have to hit it off right off the rip, set the tone early, because if this is a close competitive game, if they even, God forbid, lose game one, sayonara, you're not coming back mentally from this, just like you didn't come back mentally last season in the bubble. So I'm going to expect that the Clippers come out absolutely firing, and we'll take them -6. All right, Celtics and Nets. Oh my, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Celtics +8, Nets -8, but the Mavericks are +6 and the Clippers are -6. This spread should be Nets -25, folks. So of course we are taking the Nets -8. Are you kidding me? This Celtics team has no good bench and no good big. They're not going to be able to do anything all freaking game long, folks. The Nets have 3 all-star superstars. The Celtics only have 1 now because Jaylen Brown is out for the entire season now. So it's just going to be Jason Tatum out there by his lonesome. Kemba Walker will give us the 20 points and maybe 5 assists. But at the end of the day, the Nets have so much firepower. This is going to be a no contest. This is a 4-0 sweep already. The Celtics have a 0% chance to win any of these games, folks. They lose every single game by 20 points. It's not going to be competitive. This is going to be the worst game of the entire first round matchups of the playoffs, folks. Non-competitive at all. I think the Wizards have a better chance of beating the 76ers than the Celtics do of winning one game here. So for the Celtics, Robert Williams is a game-time decision. And for the Nets, just Landry Shamet is a game-time decision. So they got Kyrie. They got Kevin Durant. They've got James Harden, obviously. They got Joe Harris. They got Bruce Brown. They got Landry Shamet off the bench. DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin. They're not the best bigs, but compared to the Celtics team of Tristan Thompson and Grant Williams, they'll be able to have good production, good success here down low. So, of course, this Nets team wins big. I'm surprised this is not the 2 o'clock game because, you know, usually they put kind of the worser games up front, so the primetime games are a little bit of a better matchup. Probably only have the 8-10 slot here because of the stars involved in the Nets, but as far as gameplay-wise, this is not going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be an absolute blowout. Nets -8. All right, and then the last game of the night. Wow. Oh, wow. Whew. Blazers +1, Nuggets -1. Real close spread here. Gosh dang. Let's see who's all good to go. For the Blazers, just Zach Collins is out. And then for the Nuggets, Will Barton is out. Austin Rivers is a game-time decision. And PJ Dozier's out. So they're going to be missing their bench a little bit here. But I'm going to start here with the Nuggets. Man, do we even go? This is such a hard series to decide, folks. Did we call this one in 7? We did say Denver in 7. Oh, man. So, I mean, we all know that the Nuggets have Jokic. That's the best thing about this team, hands down. Michael Porter Jr. has been getting it done. But when we look at, you know, this Nuggets team starting roster, let me see if I can bring their depth chart up really quickly. Who am I looking for? The Denver Nuggets. I just don't know the offensive production we're gonna get from their other role players of Will Barton and Facundo Cabarzo. We just said that Will Barton is out, didn't we? We did. Will Barton's out, so Monte Morris is going to be in the shooting guard position. Facundo Campazzo, we are, big fans of Facundo Campazzo, the rookie guard here. He has been the game manager, but when we just have to rely on Jokic and Michael Porter Jr., we know we can get like 25, 30 plus points for both of those players, but we've seen lackluster production from Aaron Gordon scoring the ball, and then their bench. I mean, we're not going to rely on anybody for 10 plus points here. Maybe Paul Millsap, maybe, but he's going to have to earn all those points down low. And then who's the outside shooters here? JaMychal Green, and that's really it. We're going to have Austin Rivers, but he's a game time decision. He's newly acquired here on a 10-day contract that got extended for the full season. So we are going to need Austin Rivers to truly get it done here. And I just don't know, because we know Damian Lillard is cash out all the time. CJ McCollum gives us 20. Norman Powell will give us 15 to 20 points as well. So they've just got a little bit more shooters for this Blazers team. We're going to start the series off with the Nuggets. They're the home team. Let's see how they set the tone here in this game. This is going to be a grueling series here for this Nuggets team. Another really kind of great spot for a lower seeded team here to go and take advantage and upset the higher seed here. Blazers at the 6th seed, Nuggets at the 3rd seed. This is a series that this Blazers team can win, folks. This is not out of the question. This is not a hands down sweep or gentleman sweep or winning in 6. This is a series that the Blazers have a real great chance of winning and upsetting the Nuggets. But for game 1, we're going to go with the Nuggets minus the point here. Let's see how they set the tone. Let's see how Damian Lillard sets the tone. I mean, it's going to be up to him. Let's see how this bench of the Blazers work. We know this bench of the Blazers isn't anything great. They have Enes Kanter. That's really it. Carmelo, very spotty this season. And Anthony Simons is always a null factor in every single game he plays. Starting off the bench, it doesn't matter. So, Nuggets -1. We'll start with the home team this series. So, our moneymaker for tonight's action, Bucks -5.5, Clippers -6, Nets -8, and the Nuggets -1 for our first day of NBA playoffs moneymaker. We'll learn from the games today and see if we have to make any adjustments for tomorrow's action. But we are feeling very good about what is going on so far. Alrighty. I know we said we were only going to do an hour today, but I do want to squeeze in weeks 13 and 14 here. We still got 53 minutes until the tip-off of the playoffs, so that is plenty of time for us to get this show edited and uploaded everywhere it needs to be. So let's start here with week 13 in the NFL. Here we go. Chargers at the Bengals. We're going to go Chargers here on the road. I'm really loving Justin Herbert. Thinks he takes another step here. Second year head coach for a new head coach because they got rid of Anthony Lynn. So we'll see how he's doing here. But this Bengals team, I do think Joe Burrow is going to take a little bit of a step back from last season. Even though he got injured and we didn't see the full season for this man, I do think him coming back from this injury, being a little timid, is going to affect him a little bit here. I'm going to take the Chargers on the road. All right, Broncos at the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are off of a bye. Got to go with the Chiefs here. If it was just straight up no bye for the Chiefs, maybe we could have given the win to the Broncos based on the defense. But it's Andy Reid off the bye. It's basically a win. It's basically a solid win. All right, Ravens at the Steelers, going to be an absolutely great one. Division rival game, and I just think I'm going to give it to the Ravens here on the road. The Steelers defense is good, but now we're starting to get into like week 13. And is that when Big Ben started to flounder a little bit? When did all those interceptions come? Let me get that up. Ben Roethlisberger. When did he start throwing all those picks? He had like a pick a game for like the last 5 or 6 games, but when did that week start? Because we are going to kind of apply that as well to this season as well. So he started throwing picks here week 11 actually, week 11. Pick every single week for the rest of the season besides week 16. Okay. But, still kind of floundering at the back half, and it started at week 11. So we can kind of expect it to happen here. Maybe a week or two past week 11 because of the running game. But still, at the end of the day, the arm is going to start wearing down at some point. And now the Ravens trying to make the playoff push at the back half of the season on the road against a division rival. We're going to take the Ravens. Colts at the Texans. Oh my goodness, easy peasy there. Colts all day. They improved to 13-0, no problem. Patriots at the Bills here at the back half of the season. Gonna take the Bills there at home, no problem. Giants at the Dolphins, and we're going to go the Dolphins here. Yes, the Giants do have a good offense, but the Dolphins got that good defense, baby, and the Dolphins are at home. We're going to rock with the Fins. Eagles at the Jets. We're going to go the Eagles here. Robert Saleh, back half of the season. Let's see what he's learned from. Nick Sirianni, back of the season. Let's see what they've learned from. But just going based off the two quarterbacks here, Jalen Hurts or Zach Wilson, I'm going to go Jalen Hurts here. With kind of, a full season in stride here for this man, we'll go with the Eagles. All right, Washington football team at the Raiders, and I'm going to go Washington. Folks, this defense is going to be fantastic all season. They're really going to just be winning games because of their defense, just having Tyler Heineke be a game manager, or if they start Ryan Fitzpatrick for the entire season, then they can start slinging around a little bit offensively, but the main bulk of what they're going to be doing this season is their defense, and this Raiders team, we know, flounders at the back half of the season, not really reliable offensively, so we got the Washington football team with the win over the Raiders. Jags at the Rams, and man, oh man, this Rams team is going to make Urban Meyer go back down to college, especially at home. So, if you're the Jags, you should not be looking forward to this game. You should be kind of not even putting this team up on the calendar or putting it up on the wall or anything like that. You should just be like, yeah, on week 13 we have a mystery opponent. You do not look at this. Do not look at this because y'all not going to be ready for this Rams defense. All right, Cowboys at the Saints, and I really think the Saints team is not going to be that great this season. Yes, they've got Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, who we think are serviceable quarterbacks, but the drop-off of talent in quarterbacks from Drew Brees and Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, it's going to be kind of put under a microscope this season, and they're going to be relying on these quarterbacks to get it done like Drew Brees has done, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. So we've got the Saints really floundering this season, but we'll have them winning over this Cowboys team. Just too much offensive weapons for this Cowboys defense to stop, especially with Dan Quinn as their coordinator. Dan Quinn and Mike McCarthy on the same coaching staff. I don't know who's making these decisions here for the Cowboys. Two unproven guys, truly. Maybe not Mike McCarthy so much, but Dan Quinn, truly. Just kind of lucked out with the Legion of Boom, and Mike McCarthy only lucked out with Aaron Rodgers, so... we'll see how the Cowboys do this season. It's sink or swim, folks. It's sink or swim time for this Cowboys team. I'm over giving them, a free pass every single season. Oh, it's next year. It's next year. It's next year. No, it's this year. Sink or swim. Mike McCarthy, in or out, fired or not. Make your decision. Alrighty, Cardinals coming off of the bye at the Bears, and we're gonna go the Cardinals here. The defense is gonna be real solid. The offense we all know is gonna be solid. This Bears offense is gonna be the worst thing about them. I think Justin Fields is gonna work in this league, but besides Justin Fields, they've got nothing else. Yes, Allen Robinson is good. Is he A1 tier 1? He's solid, don't get me wrong, and he made Mitch Trubisky look good, and that definitely, puts him closer to A1 tier 1, but is he top 10 best? I mean, are we taking, who are we taking over Allen Robinson? All the big names. Like, once we start getting down to the bottom of the barrel, the A1 tier 1 receivers, I think then we take Allen Robinson. And then the sheer drop-off of talent wide receiver-wise for the Bears, besides Allen Robinson, it's going to be hard for Justin Fields to really get it done this season. So we're going to take the Cardinals on the road. Bucks at the Falcons. Tom Brady versus Matt Ryan. Gonna be an absolutely good one here. Division game, back half of the season. I'm gonna call the Falcons with the upset. I do think the Falcons truly get it done this season and are legitimate deep playoff contenders. So we're gonna call a little bit of an upset here with the Falcons at home. Alrighty, Vikings at the Lions, and this is probably one of their best opportunities to win a game here this season for the Lions, but we're still going to go the Vikings. I can't trust Dan Campbell. And then the last game of Week 12, the 49ers at the Seahawks. We're going to take the Seahawks because they are at home, folks. This NFC West is still going to be probably the most competitive division, top to bottom. I mean, these bottom of these divisions, AFC West, we got the Raiders at 2-10, the Jets at 2-10, the Texans at 1-11, the Jags also at 1-11. Non-competitive, that entire division. Bengals at 3-9, Lions at 0-12, Panthers at 2-10, Eagles at 4-9. So this NFC West, that Rams at 10-2, Seahawks at 8-4, Cardinals at 8-4, 49ers at 6-6. It's really anybody's race throughout this entire year, and I think it kind of happens again this season. Alrighty, now let's go to week 14 here. First game up is the Ravens at the Browns, and the Browns are on the bye here. Gonna take the Browns here. The Browns competed absolutely fantastic last season. They went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs in the playoffs, and I give this Browns team so much respect. Let's see what they can do year 2 with Kevin Stefanski at the helm. He knows how to scheme for Baker Mayfield, and it works, and they put up points, and they win games. I'm taking the Browns at home. Raiders at the Chiefs, easy peasy here for the Chiefs, no problem. Jaguars at the Titans. Titans coming off the bye. Once again, they didn't even need the bye. This is a 2-week bye for the Titans, going at a bye, and then the Jags, and then we'll see what they've got at week 15. But a nice kind of 2-week bye here for the Titans at the back end of the season. Yeah, they're definitely going to need it. Alrighty, the Steelers at the Vikings. I'm going to go to the Steelers here. They're going to get it done defensively. This Vikings team, they are turnover prone, and the Steelers defense are all ball hawks. 49ers at the Bengals. Okay, this should be a solid game here. We'll see if Jimmy G is going to stay healthy. I'm still a little uncertain about this Bengals team. How are their weapons offensively going to look? How is Joe Burrow coming back from the injury? All big question marks, so I'll go with the 49ers. Lions at the Broncos, laughable. Broncos all day, no contest. Bills at the Bucks. Ooh, 2 great defenses going against, just based off of last year, 2 great quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Tom Brady. So this is going to be an absolutely great matchup. Man, oh man. Damn. Bills at the Bucks, week 14. A lot of playoff implications, division implications. This is going to be an absolutely great game. Probably the best game of the week. Damn, I don't even know who to call. Who's going to step up, Tom Brady or Josh Allen? Both defenses are going to get it done. Bucks at home, maybe the slight edge. But I'm going to take the Bills with a little bit of an upset here over this Bucks team. Yeah, the Bucks, man. Tom Brady, he was still making big mistakes last season, folks. Lots of turnovers, getting bailed out defensively. Where Josh Allen, back half of the season down the stretch, he didn't really turn over the ball that much. So I'm going to take the Bills here at week 14. Then we get the Giants at the Chargers. We're going to take the Giants here. I think the offense is going to be real solid. I really think Daniel Jones is going to make this year 3 leap like Josh Allen made last season. Saints at the Jets, going to give the wins to the Saints here on the road. Robert Saleh is not prepared. Seahawks at the Texans, easy for the Seahawks there. This Texans team, even if Deshaun Watson plays, they couldn't even win last season with Deshaun Watson and all that wide receiver talent. They lost a lot of wide receiver depth back half of last season, this offseason, and we still don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to play. Cowboys at Washington. Division rivalry at home. I'm taking Washington all day long, folks. I do not think this Cowboys team is going to be that great, especially defensively. But this Washington team is good defensively and attacks the Cowboys offense. Bears at the Packers, and the Packers are off of a bye. If it was just Bears at Packers, I would have taken the Bears defensively. But it's Packers off of a bye, extra week to prepare. We've got them with the win. Falcons at the Panthers. Panthers off of a bye, and with the Bucks losing against the Bills this week, this is the Falcons' official chance to get into the lead of the division, and we're going to take them even though the Panthers are at home off of a bye. I'm going to believe in Matt Ryan this season, folks. And then the Rams at the Cardinals, division rivalry here in the NFC West, so we give it to the home team, the Cardinals. Alrighty, so now after 14 weeks in the NFL, this is what the standings are looking like. Steelers at top of the AFC North at 10-3. Colts at top of the AFC South at 13-0. Bills at top of the AFC East at 10-3. Dolphins are also 10-3. They got the tiebreaker though, unfortunately. Chiefs at top of the AFC West at 13-0. Damn, yeah, they are 13-0. We got the 2 undefeated teams here: 13-0 Colts, 13-0 Chiefs. Alrighty, NFC North, Packers still in the lead at 8-5. AFC South, Falcons have gained control of the AFC South at 9-4. Washington is at top of the NFC East at 8-5, and the Rams are atop the NFC West at 10-3. So a couple more weeks left, and then we get into the playoffs, folks, and we'll see who's going to take home the crown 3 months before the NFL season officially tips off. All right, folks, that is going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. playoffs, folks. We are 40 minutes away from the playoffs. I cannot wait, and we get the best series, game 1 of the playoffs, folks. Bucks, Heat. I cannot wait. All right, folks, we're back tomorrow. We'll break down all the playoff games. We'll do it again tomorrow. Enjoy these 2 days, folks. These are the 2 best days of the NFL playoffs. These weekends of the first rounds where we have 4 games on each day. And unfortunately, as the playoffs progress, we get less and less and less. So enjoy it while it lasts, folks. Enjoy it while it lasts. Revel in these next 2 days, folks. There's nothing. These are the 2 best days in sports, folks. Alrighty, we're going to be out of here, folks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Make some money, folks. Make some money today on the games. We'll see you tomorrow while we're all cashing out.